Let's bring back Michael Jaafar as we wait for court to resume. The technical gremlins are pretty much part of every courthouse, every courtroom, and every lawyer has to deal with it. And now he has this. There's a good chance he's not going to get this thing to work because we've seen it happen a lot. Bottom line is, he's doing a good job, right? But it's not as good a job as the public defender would have done, is what the only argument I'd make. No problem.
I apologize. Yeah, I was on mute. Here's my opinion, right? There are some terrible public defenders. Is it possible to defend yourself in a trial better than a public defender? I mean, there's pros and cons, right? You bring the passion and the emotion and the understanding of the facts better than any public defender would. But at the same time, you're biased. You're not going to see things like an objective person. Like if somebody were to get through to this person, they would convince him to not do a lot of the things he's doing, right? Some of the things he's doing are well. Marie Pereira brought up an example of something that he did that was well, right? In my opinion, what's the purpose of a trial? The purpose of a trial, if you're a defendant, is to get an acquittal. It's not to expose bad things in the prosecution and then get convicted. You're just delaying your conviction by an hour, right? The purpose is to get an acquittal. So I think he's doing a serviceable job, but I think a public defender would have done a better job. And the evidence of that is that he fired his attorney. He fired his attorney and wouldn't take another one. I've seen this too many times, and it always comes down to the same point. The defendant is not listening to reason. And he said in his letter to the judge, I don't want to take a plea, right? That means they offered him a plea. This is a person where an objective observer would have told him, look, you need to take a plea here, right? I've had many instances where I would line up a really good plea. Most people don't go to trial. Most of these criminal cases, they settle in a plea because the evidence is overwhelming and you have to overcome a mountain of evidence against you, and the state has been preparing for the case longer than you've been preparing for your defense, right? That doesn't make it right. That's just the way it is.